Those are your projects? No, but these are your projects? Those are his projects? Okay. Get out of this.
All right, so yeah, Coach K mentioned it last time, but make sure you guys are, every time we do something new, make sure you click on new project and make sure you name it. So as you can see, I went back and I remade the projects that we've done so far, and I've named all of them. And naming it, it'll allow you to more easily access it when you need a certain program. So you're not looking into each program trying to see what you have inside there. So I'm going to click
How
new
do you
project.
name it?
Yeah, so when you click new project, you're going to see this text box at the bottom, and then you can name it. So like today, we can name this one reflective light intensity.
Reflective light intensity.
So that way I know when I come back and I look at all my projects, I know that this one is about reflective light intensity.
Okay. Well, that's it. This, like that? Is that what you mean? What you trying to do? Oops, that's okay. What are you trying to do?
All right. So last time we played with the color sensor and we made it detect certain colors, and we kind of made a little mini Tesla, right? We made it detect the green light and the red light. And when it saw the green light, it would keep on going. But when it saw the red light, it would stop. And we even added a yellow light so that it could slow down when it saw the yellow light. So today we're going to try something a little bit different with the color sensor. So if you guys go into sensors and you guys look at color sensor, there's a lot of different blocks. And so the first couple ones are for just actual color. So like if I bring this one out, I can change the color and it'll do something when it detects that color. So right now it'll do something when it detects blue, whatever is inside that block. But there's actually two other settings that we can use for our color sensor. So if you guys bring out this block and just look at it, you can see that it says reflective light right here. So if you click down, you can see all three of the settings. So we're going to use reflective light today. So reflective light intensity is another setting for the color sensor, and that's basically kind of how bright the color is. So it's on a scale from 1 to 100. So what do you guys think? It's on a scale from 0 to 100. So it's how bright a color is. So what do you guys think 0 would be? What color would 0 be? A color with the reflective light intensity of 0. Any guesses?
It'd either be white or black.
Yeah, so it'd be one of the extremes. So yeah, you're right. So 0 would actually be black. So yeah, 0 would be black. And then 100
would be white.
Exactly. So 100 would be white.
So higher is lighter and lower is darker?
Yeah, so the lower the reflective light intensity, the darker the color is. So yeah, 0 would be a very dark color, so it'd be black. So anything close to 0. So if I said like 9, that would probably still be black. It'd be something close to black. And then if you were to put red, that would probably still be a darker color. So I think most of the colors that we have with the beams that we have in here are going to be darker colors. So what I wanted us to do today is I wanted us to make a little program to display the reflective light intensity of a certain color that we put in front of our color sensor. So what I'm saying is that I want to make a program that'll keep on monitor what the color sensor is seeing, and it'll put the color, the reflective light intensity, onto the screen, and it'll show us what it is, and then it can tell us if it's darker or brighter. All right, so let's do that. So we're going to use the forever loop for this one, and we're going to use forever. So I'm just going to delete the on start, and we're going to use forever because if we use the on start block, what is it going to do? How many times is it going to run our program?
I mean, it'll do it right at the start.
So yeah, it'll run it once. So if we use on start, it's only going to run it once. And we want to keep on continuously monitor the color, what the color sensor is reading. So if we only did it once, it's only going to monitor whatever the color is that when the program runs, it's only going to monitor that color. So if we did it forever, it'll keep on monitoring. So if we change what's in front of the color sensor, it'll show us that change. All right, so since we have our forever loop, let's go ahead and go into brick so we can actually display something. So last time we played with strings, and do you guys remember what a string is? So string is a fancy word for text. So anything that you can write, so like hello. So like right here, it says hello world. So that's a example of a string. So 1 would not be an example of a string because 1 is a number. So any words or phrases or anything like that. So any text. So we're actually going to be using numbers today since the reflective light intensity is a number. So it's from 0 to 100. So we're going to click on the one that says show number. And we're going to bring it in here. And so while we're doing this program, it might be better to just look at the simulation because the robot's not going to actually be moving. But if I just click, you can zoom in and see the screen. So right now it's showing 0 because we told it to show 0. So the block here says show number 0 at line 1. So this is line 1 and it's showing 0. But we want to show the reflective light intensity. So we're going to go into sensors and we're going to go all the way down until we see the block like this. So the one that says color sensor.
Oops.
So I'm going to drag that one out.
Delete that.
And I'm going to put it in where it says show number. So like that. And I also want you guys to notice with this program, the shapes of the different blocks. So like a block that has numbers or even text, it's kind of curved like this. But something like logic, it has sharper edges. So you kind of know when to put stuff in different areas. So you know that a block like this can't go in somewhere like that. So that's just something to note.
All right. Does that look right? That looks
All right.
correct.
So if you guys look at your screen, the simulation on the left, mine right now says 50. So you can actually change the reflective light intensity in the simulation. So if you look down, you're going to see the little, the bar that has black and yellow. So if you move this up or down, it'll show you the reflective light intensity. So if I move it all the way down to 0, that's going to be a very, very dark color. If I move it all the way up, the color gets brighter.
Yeah.
So you can play with that. And if you download this onto your EV3 brick, which I'm going to do right now, if you try downloading this and then try putting maybe a beam in front of it and see what color you get. Maybe try to find something white and put it, and maybe try to find something black.
Download it. Save file.
Go to wherever you're
Do this. Download to your EV3.
Go wherever you're done.
It says it moves the file to the EVP brick. It's allowing us to do that.
By going to the, where do you put all your downloads?
But this thing looks like it's really doing it.
No, it isn't.
I think with my computer it does. Connect the EV3 to your computer.
We did
Use
that.
that. Move the U to the EV. Okay, oh, I see. Got it.
Go
Click.
where you're,
Click on that. I got it. Okay, so now we need to go to downloads, right? Oops. Let's go here. Okay, downloads.
it should show up to EV3.
Where is that?
All right. So has anybody downloaded their program yet?
Okay, let's go back here again. So let's do this download. Okay, save file. Okay.
It works, Coach Aid.
It works? Awesome.
Look, if
So
I
it shows,
put my hand in front of it, it says like 10, 11, 12, 9, 10. I put my watch in front of it, it's like 0.
yeah, so it's a whole spectrum. So different colors will give you different values. So let's make a program to tell us whether a color is bright or not bright or dark. So we're going to use logic. So we're going to use one of our if statements. And remember, if just means if something is true, then it'll do something. If something is not true, it'll do something else. So I'm going to bring out the if block. So the one that says if true, then, and else.
We put it in your projects? Okay. Okay, let's go on there. Okay, EV3, there it is.
All
Is it
right.
working?
So I'm actually going to click on the little plus button here so that we can turn this second block into an else if. And I think I'm going to do it one more time. And then I'm going to delete this third one. So now we only have 3 if, or 1 if and 2 else if. And then let me know when you guys have gotten this far. Give me a thumbs up.
If true, then.
Good.
Oops, go back here. Good. You can use your hands. There you go. Excellent.
Awesome. So now we can say if, let's say if we see a color that has a reflective light intensity maybe less than 50, it'll be, let's say, a darker color, because darker colors have lower values. And we can also say if a color is greater than 50, then it is bright, it has a higher value. So let's do that. So I'm going to go back into logic and I'm going to click on one of the comparison blocks. So I'm actually going to click on the second one, but they're both the same. You can both change the settings, and I'm going to put it in our first if statement. So what this block is doing, it's comparing 2 different values. So I'll just do an example, and you guys don't have to do this, but I'm going to say if 1, or let's say if 2 is less than 6, then I don't know, let's say the EV3 is going to say correct. Right now, the program is saying if 2 is less than 6, then the EV3 is going to show correct. But is 2 less than 6?
No. I mean, yes.
No? Oh, okay. You scared me there for a second. All right, so 2 is less than 6. So the EV3 on the left is showing correct. So it's saying that's true. But let's see if we flipped it. So if I say if 2 is greater than 6, then it's going to show correct. And is 2 greater than 6?
Comparison.
No, so it's not going to show anything. So right here it just shows 50, but that's just because of this first block that we put, but it's not showing correct because it's not correct. So if we could say if 2 is not 6, so this with the little slash, that just means not, and it's giving me an error. I don't know why. But the little slash just means not. And the equal sign means equal. So if two things are equal, then it'll do what's in here. And of course, you guys know the greater than or less than, or the greater than and equal to. Pretty sure everybody knows that, right? The little alligator mouths.
Yeah, and I also have one question. So like
Yeah.
the last one, and the fourth one, like what does it mean when the little line's under it?
Say that again. So are you talking about the else if?
No, like when you click,
This one?
yeah, the last one. Yeah,
This
what
one?
does that mean?
So with the line under the
And then
okay. So that just means so like for example, the one I have here, is that like what you're talking about?
Yeah.
this one here.
All right, so this says is 2 less than, and the slash under it just means equal to, less than or equal to. So is 2 less than or equal to 6?
Okay.
So yeah, so this statement is true. So that's why it's showing correct. So that just means equal to. The difference between this and this is that if I put 2 and 2, this statement is not going to be correct, right? Because 2 is not less than 2. But if I put it like this, it's going to be correct. And we'll see that. Because 2 is less than or equal to 2. So it can be or. So there's 2 conditions.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to get rid of all of that. That was just to show you guys. So in the first block, we're going to put logic. So we're going to put one of the comparison blocks. So like this.
Okay. That one.
And what are we trying to compare?
Okay.
If the color is like darker or lighter.
Yeah, so we want to compare the reflective light intensity. So we're going to go into sensor, and we're going to go all the way down to color sensor, and then where it says color sensor 3, reflective light. And we're just going to take that block out and put it in our first condition. So where the if is, we're just going to put that there.
Right. And then if right here, I'm going to go to sensor. Color, where's color sensor 3 right here? This one. Reflected light, right? Is it down there? This one?
No, this one.
This one right here?
And for this value, we're going to type in 50.
Right? Right there?
So we said that the reflective light intensity is on a scale from 0 to 100. So a lower number, of course, is going to be darker. Right now, this statement says if color sensor, the reflective light intensity of the color sensor is less than 50, then, so a number less than 50, is that going to be lighter or darker? Or a darker color?
Darker.
Darker.
Yeah, darker. So we can say that we want the brick to say darker. So we're going to go into brick, and we're going to go all the way under, and we're going to also bring out another show string block. So the one that says show string and hello world.
50?
And then we can type in darker color. And make sure you change your line too. So I can put this on line 2 because we already have something on line 1.
What happened? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Color sensor.
All right, so now our program says if our color sensor reflective light intensity is less than 50, and it's going to say it's a darker color on line 2. So if you guys look at the left, it doesn't say darker color. And that's because right now it says our reflective light intensity is 50. But if you guys move the little bar and you move it down, it's going to now say darker color because now it's less than 50. But if you move it past 50 or to 50, it's not going to, it shouldn't say anything.
Where do you want it to go in? Right here? Right here? Up here? Like that? Okay.
This is, oh, what does it do?
I don't know. So
No, you have to put this.
this one? And this one? Goes where? Up here? Like that?
I want to change that to greater.
Well, let's see. Where's greater? Isn't that less than? This one right here? Like that?
All right, let me know when you guys are ready, when you have all the code that
We
we
gotta
have
do
so far.
show string, right? Okay. Show string.
It's a so string. Hello world.
This one.
All right, so we're kind of running into a little problem here. So have you guys tried moving your bar up into something that's past 50? So when you do that, it says it's a darker color. But we told it that we wanted it to be, to only say darker color when we had a value that's less than 50. So then, does anybody know why that's happening?
Because we didn't tell it that if the color sensor 3 reflected light
Mm-hmm.
less than 50, then show string lighter color.
So yeah, this is so this is what we told it to do when it's less than 50. But I know what you're saying. You're saying that we should tell it what to do when it's greater than 50, and then it'll work.
Mhm.
So
Else if then.
So yeah, we don't have to actually put anything in here for this to work. So the reason why it's showing still a darker color when it's something greater than 50 is because we didn't clear our screen. So every time that you have something in a loop and you're showing text, you always want to clear the screen every time the loop starts. So this is going on forever. So every time this is running, every time, like every millisecond, or it's running very, very fast. So if we say that we want it to show darker color, it's just gonna keep on showing darker color. It's not gonna take it off the screen. So we want this to wipe everything off the screen every time it starts. So I'm gonna go into brick and I'm gonna go all the way down to clear screen. So this clear screen block, I'm gonna make it our first block. So it's gonna be our first. And then now I want you guys to try moving up and down. So now when I move down, it shows darker color, but when I go past 50, now it doesn't show anything. And so that's exactly what we want.
Well, Coach Aid,
Yeah.
I already put another line of code.
Awesome. So what'd you put?
So I put it in the else if.
Mhm.
I duplicated the if color sensor reflected light
Yeah.
is less than. I changed that less than to greater than, and then I changed the show string in the else if to the lighter color, and it works perfectly fine.
Yeah, so we're gonna do exactly what Karthik just said. So right now it's only showing if something is a darker color, but we also want to show if it's a lighter color. So Karthik basically copied what we had here and he put it in and just changed the less than and he changed it to a greater than, and he changed the text that said darker color and he changed it to lighter color. So we're gonna do what Karthik said. So we're gonna go first into sensors, and we're gonna pick up that same block that we just used. So the one that says color sensor and then reflective light. So I'm gonna pick that one up and I'm gonna put it well, first we actually have to bring our comparison block. So I'm just going to put it to the side first. And now I'm going to go into logic and go into where it says comparison. And I'll pick out that second block. So what we used earlier. And then I'll put it in our second if statement. So our else if. And now I can put our color sensor block into the first block of our comparison statement. And of course, we're going to type in the same number, so 50. But like Karthik said, we don't want this to say if the reflective light is less than 50. We want it to say if it's greater than 50, because that's what a light color is. It's going to be something that's going to be greater than 50. So instead of the little alligator pointing to the 50, we want it to point at our block on the left. So we're going to click on it and we're going to change it to the second to last block. So the one that's greater than. And we're going to go back into brick and we want it to show some text when it's greater than 50. So a greater than 50 value is going to be a light color. So we're going to click on show string and we're going to type in light color. And also don't forget to change your line to line 2, since that's where we're going to be showing our if our color is light or dark. And now I want you guys to look on the left and move your the little bar here up or down. And so when I move it up, it says light color. When I move it down, it says darker color. And I should actually type in lighter color. And tell me if it's working for you guys.
It is.
Awesome. All right, so our program is almost complete. We just have one thing. So I want you guys to move your bar to where it says 50. So where the reflective light is just 50. And I want you guys to tell me what you guys see.
Nothing.
Exactly, nothing. So we only programmed our EV3 brick to show numbers that are greater than 50 and less than 50. So we didn't actually program it for the number 50 itself. So it's not going to show anything because we didn't put a condition for 50. So let's do that. And then I think we're done with that program. So I'm going to go back into logic. And this time I'm going to click on the first block. So we talked about equal to. So this is an equal sign, and we're going to put it into the else if, the last else if. Now we can say if our color sensor reflective light intensity is equal to 50, then we can say, let's say neutral color. So we could say it's a neutral color. And neutral just means that it's in the middle, so in between. So to do that, we've already put our comparison block. So now I'm going to put in the sensor block. So the same 3 blocks that we've used before. And I'm going to go all the way down to where it says color sensor 3 reflected light. So I'm going to take that one out and put it in our first space in our comparison block. And we're going to change the second number to 50. And now we want it to show some text when it's 50. So we're going to go back into brick and we're going to go all the way down to where it says show string. And we're going to take that block. And now we can type in neutral color. Make sure you guys change it to line 2. And now if you guys look at the left of your simulation, it should say 50 is a neutral color. And it should also show something no matter where you move your cursor. So if I go below 50, darker color, above 50, lighter color, and 50 should show neutral color. All right, let me know when you guys have that.
I've done that.
Awesome. So now you can try downloading it on your robot and try looking at objects in like the real world. So maybe take out some beams. So I have a black beam and a white beam. So you can try putting that in front of your robot. It might be a little slim, or maybe get some colored paper and see what numbers you get. Well, let's move on. So now we've discussed 3 different sensors. So we've done the touch sensor, the color sensor, or have we only done 2?
We only done 2.
Okay, so we've only done 2. So we've done the touch sensor and the color sensor. So let's move on. So let's move on to the ultrasonic sensor. So I want you guys to get out your ultrasonic sensor. And a key, there's 2 that, this can be confusing. There's 2 that look the same. So you have one that looks like this and one that looks like that.
No, we don't have the one on the left.
You don't? So my left or your left?
Your left.
Okay, so this one?
No, I mean the other one.
Okay, so my right? Okay, so you don't have this one?
Nope.
I don't have it either.
Really? Okay, well, in my kit, I have these 2, and as similar as they look, they're not the same sensor. So this one is an infrared sensor, and this one is the ultrasonic sensor. So you get the one with the 2 little eyes, and you guys have that one, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, we're gonna use this one. So the one with the 2 eyes.
I'll be right back. I'll go get it from my room.
Okay.
It just looks creepy. It's like they're like eyes and they look really creepy.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a robot itself.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting for Nina, does anybody know what the ultrasonic sensor does?
It like detects objects, like not like colors, but like if anything comes in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
It like
So yeah, it can detect objects, and it could also tell us how far away an object is in front of it.
Really, I never knew that.
Yeah, so it could like tell us like 5 inches, or if you put it to centimeters. I'm not sure if you can do that in here, but I know in EV3 you can change it to centimeters and inches, and it'll tell you how far away an object is.
Cool.
All right, I'm back.
All right, so the ultrasonic sensor is a sensor that measures distance. That's basically what it does. Measures distance, and I guess you could say it measures motion, kind of. But if like anything comes in front of it, it'll detect that. And so it does that by sending out ultrasonic waves out, and if there's an object in front of the sensor, it'll bounce off and come back. So if it senses my hand, the waves will come out, they will bounce off my hand, and they will go back, and it'll register that as an object in front of it. And it can also, like we just talked to Karthik, it could also measure distance, and it does that by using some math. It uses the speed of sound, and it calculates how far away an object is by how long it takes to come back. So I'm gonna go into a new project. So make sure you guys save this, well, it auto saves, but make sure you guys name your project. I'm just gonna go up here to the left and click on the Lego Education button. And it should take me back to my normal page.
Or click on home.
So that's how you get to a new project. Okay.
Yeah. And then click on, new project. So real quick, I'm gonna delete one of I have 2 of the same programs. All right, so I'm gonna click new project, and let's name this one Ultrasonic. All right, so if you haven't gone ahead, go ahead and take off whatever sensor you had before, or maybe just attach this sensor. But I'm gonna take off my color sensor, and I'm gonna put on the ultrasonic sensor. So I'm just gonna switch places.
I'm gonna be right back
Okay.
to get some pieces.
Yep. All right. So mine looks like that. So I'll have the ultrasonic sensor just at the left side,
Okay.
pointing forward.
No. Wait, does it only come with 8 cables?
I am not sure.
There's 8 ports.
Check the box. It should say somewhere on there, or maybe I think it shows some pictures on the little label.
Oh my God, the eyes light up. It's creepy.
All right, so let's try some programs. Does everybody have their robot set up? Yep. All right. So let's just go into sensors. This is where all of our sensor blocks are. Let's go all the way down to where we see ultrasonic. So ultrasonic doesn't have that many. It has 3, but we can do a bunch with this. So let's just bring out the first block, the one that says
I'm back.
on ultrasonic. All right. So we just started programming, and we're going in sensor all the way down to ultrasonic. And we're going to take out the first block.
Me.
And if you look on the left, notice how every time you bring in a sensor or even like a motor, it animates it for you on the left and kind of simulates what it would do. And you can also drag this bar with how far away your object is, and it'll tell you so. You can go all the way from 0 to 250 centimeters. And with this one, I don't think you can change it to inches. I think it's centimeters. All right. So make sure you guys have your robot plugged into the right port. So you can always change the port, but the default is 4, so port 4. So I'm just gonna change my robot to port 4. That way I don't have to keep on changing the port in the program. And so this says on ultrasonic 4, when it detects an object, it's gonna do something in here. So what do you guys want the robot to do when it detects an object?
Move back.
Move back? Okay, so you want a really passive robot?
Like move back and then make a noise that says like detected or something.
All right, sure. So let's go into motors. So we want it to move back first. But we're gonna go into motors and where it says steer motors, because that way we can use both of our wheels, and we're gonna drag that one out. And make sure yours is on B and C, and make sure your motors are connected to ports B and C. And we'll keep our turn ratio 0, but we want to press the plus button, and we also want to change two things. So we want our speed to be -50 since we want to move backwards. 50 would make us move forward. And we also want to go for, let's try 1 or 2 rotations. So let's try maybe 2 to start off with.
Saeed,
Yeah.
I just have a question. Is
Yeah.
there a way to make the ultrasonic sensor like it only moves when there's something in front of it and it doesn't move if there's nothing in front of it?
Could you say that again?
Like, can we make it move like forward if there's something in front of it, and if there isn't something in front of it, it just stops?
It stops, or
It stops. It stops when there is something in front of it. Or I mean,
okay,
it's
so are you saying you want it to just normally move, and then if it senses something, it'll stop?
not like I want to do this thing. Like it's just gonna follow me around if it senses my hand, and if it doesn't sense my hand, it just stays there.
Okay, so you're talking about something that can follow. I'm not sure if the ultrasonic sensor can follow. That's probably a little more.
Beacon though.
Hmm?
You can use the IR beacon though.
To follow?
Yeah.
I've never tried it, but
Oh,
I
the
would
IR
assume
beacon
you
isn't
could probably.
included in the education edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the sensor I had. So this is the IR sensor, so the infrared sensor. But I've never tried that. So, but I don't think you can do it with the ultrasonic sensor.
Oh, with this beacon that it can track, or this can work as a remote control.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so we have our ultrasonic sensor set to move back for 2 rotations when it detects an object in front of it. So let's just try downloading that program. I want you guys to download it first, and then I want you guys to put your hand in front of the ultrasonic sensor and see what it does. And if you have yours on the table, make sure it doesn't fall off.
Coach Aid,
Yeah.
it senses things from really far away.
From really far away. So when you start it, it doesn't sense anything. It only senses something after you start the program.
No, when I started the program, it just went.
Just moved?
Yeah.
That's weird. It shouldn't start sensing anything until you
Let me try again.
bring a new object in.
We're taking your class.
No, it's not.
Okay, good.
I'm working on making it. So far, I've got,
Are you muted?
yes. Am I actually?
Hey, my program isn't showing up in the break. Oh, there we go. Now it does. Oh, now it works.
All right, now it's working. All right. So I hope everybody's robot moves backwards when it senses something. And so after this block, you can do anything. So you could say you wanted to move back and, I don't know, turn left or make a noise like Karthik said. You're just going to brick and do all that. And there's even a music option. I don't really know anything about music and notes, but if you wanted to play around with that, you could play like sound effects when it detects an object, but you could do all of that. So let's go ahead and let's try to do what we did with the color sensor. So with the color sensor, we were able to display on the EV3 screen, we were able to display the reflective light intensity onto the screen. So let's do the same thing with the ultrasonic sensor, but this time we're going to display distance. So it'll show us how far an object is, and it'll write it on the screen. So I'm just gonna delete what I have here. Oh, and I forgot, you probably shouldn't delete it. Go ahead and save this program and do it in a new tab. So we save that as ultrasonic, so we could name it ultrasonic 1, I don't know, number 1, something like that.
I've been trying to connect my ultrasonic sensor, but it was taking too long, so I didn't really get to see that other program.
Okay. That's fine. We only had like 2 blocks. Yeah, we only had this block, the one that detects, and then our motor block that will move our robot back.
So everybody got it till here? Amen? I didn't hear
So
any.
what are we doing here, Sam?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome. All right. All right, so new tab or new project. And we could name this one Ultrasonic 2.
A quick reminder,
Yes.
10 more minutes for the class. Okay, 10, less than
Okay.
10.
All right, yeah, this one won't take too long. All right, so we're gonna use our forever loop again. So we'll just delete the one that says on start. We're gonna use the forever loop. So last time with the touch sensor, sorry, the color sensor, we used the brick block that displays text, and we displayed our numbers. We displayed the reflective light intensity. So we'll do the same thing. So we'll go into brick, and we'll go all the way down to show number. So since the distance is going to be a number, we're going to choose the one that says show number. And the number that we want to show is the distance that the ultrasonic sensor detects an object is. So we're going to go to sensors, and we're going to go all the way down to ultrasonic. And remember, the shapes of the blocks tell you where you can put them. So we want a curved shape. So if you guys look, anything that fits in here is going to be curved on the edges. So under ultrasonic, we're going to click on the last one that has distance. And we're going to put it in the show number block. Now, if you guys look at the left, the simulation on the left, every time you move the bar, it'll tell you the distance that an object is from your ultrasonic sensor. So try downloading this and try putting your hand in front of the block, in front of the sensor, and try moving it back and forward, and the numbers should change.
My brick turned off automatically, so I just have to wait till it turns back on again, and then I'll put my hand in front of it.
Okay.
Coach Aid,
Yeah.
it's sensing things from like, I don't know, from like over there.
From over where?
From over pretty far away.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how far it can sense things, but it senses far. So, but I mean, like if you put your hand right in front of it, the number should go down like drastically
Oh,
if it's sensing something far away.
it's sensing the laptop.
But I mean, is it working at least?
Yeah, it's working.